Good morning. I'm back drinking beers in the park. I decided to come back drinking beers in the park because it's still a civil liberty that we can enjoy here in Bulgaria for the time being until the weak impose their encroach on those civil liberties, until the weak impose their bullshit morality on it. That's all done under the guise of civilization. The bastards took the chess tables, that's only the beginning. But obviously, because, people like to hang out here, drink during the day and play chess. But what are parks fucking for? Do you know what I mean? What are parks for? And there would seem to be an understanding of this in communist times, that this is what parks are for. But now the weak come along, oh, that's not civilised. Drinking in the park is not civilised. Where the fuck did they even get idea? That's a Western idea. That's a Western idea. But of course, they adapt the bullshit. You know what I mean? This is the weak encroaching on the civilized. This is done. This is now. Drinking in the park is now becoming uncivilised. But the big fucking problem is that we think we're more civilised than we actually are. And this is a big fucking problem, because we want to encroach on civil liberties like drinking in the park while we ignore the elephants in the room. And there's a lot of elephants in the room. But I'll talk about the elephants. Yeah, I'll talk about the elephants. There's several models through which we can perceive life. And then we have, say, an academic hierarchy which adapts several of these models through which they perceive life. So, for example, like mathematics would be a model that some of the academic hierarchy perceive life, and others. Physics, art, religion, psychology and psychiatry. Now, psychology and psychiatry is just another model through which an academic hierarchy perceive life. And then when they consider themselves, when they think that this is reality, we have it all figured out, we're the intellectuals, we're intellectually superior, they then get to believe that they are the rose in the garden. They are the rose in the garden, and they can see no reason why we can't have a rose garden. Something like Hitler. Hitler's like this. He could see no reason why he couldn't have a rose garden, and he will grow roses in his garden, and who the fuck are you to tell him that he should have biodiversity, or he should have tulips, or he should have chrysanthemums, or even that he should even tolerate ivy or thistles, or weeds basically. And that's empathy. To understand this is empathy. But it's also, when it comes to the people, say, the academic hierarchy of psychology, you have to realise that they're doing this very same fucking thing. They believe themselves to be the roses, and they can see no reason why we can't have a rose garden. Everybody should be as they see fit, as they think the world ought to be, even if they have to medicate them or repress them into conformity, as they do, This is what psychology is all about. My big problem with psychology, how, indoctrinating you into conformity. This is how you behave. This is how you conduct yourself in a civilized society. What does he say? Assert yourself in the dominance hierarchy. Assert yourself in the dominance hierarchy. Can you work 14 hours? Can you work 16 hours? In other words, in the West, for example, you know who I'm talking about, indoctrinates you into a capitalist regime, into a capitalist system, which is in their interest. But nothing will enslave a man faster than his desires, and I say this about the illusion of success. Nothing will enslave a man faster than his desires. So the first thing they have to do is create desire, a culture of desire. But nothing will enslave a man faster than his desires, and nothing will keep him enslaved more than his aversions. So your desires and aversions will completely enslave you. And that's why Stoicism is about, it's about freedom, not only living in accordance with nature, but freedom. But again, freedom is an abstract concept, but we have several abstract concepts, but let's not get into that. So psychology is as a model, as I say, and as I say, sometimes when people, in one regard might consider themselves intellectually superior, they get to thinking that they are superior. But I don't want to get into the bullshit of we're all equal, because that's a paradox. it is and it isn't true. But let's not go there because there's other things I want to talk about. And then when we get into, like, you know, for example, like, okay, we'll talk about the elephants in the room. I will talk about the elephants in the room. Repressed homosexuality. That's an elephant in the room that nobody really wants to seem to talk about. And they don't seem to realise it's as big an issue as it is. And I didn't realise it was as big an issue as it is till I came to Bulgaria, because Bulgaria is when I came here first, it was a macho society, you know what I mean? We're the hard men of Europe, you know, Slavic culture. We're the hard men of Europe. Well, they're in Europe now, but we're the hard men of Europe. So homosexuality was not tolerated here. And then when men found themselves to have feelings towards other men, this caused them a psychological problem. And if you repress any aspects of your character or repress thoughts or feelings, they will manifest themselves in uglier ways. And one of those uglier ways is to create an alter ego to overcompensate, because that's what humans tend to do, overcompensate for the, you know, don't push me, I'll push back harder. So basically they overcompensate for the feelings of homosexuality. When repressing these feelings of homosexuality, they say, you gay bastard, you gay fucker, to a violent extent, to aggression towards homosexuality. You gay fucker, you gay cunt, and to the extent of violence. In other words, to kick you, if they think you're a homosexual, they knock your bollocks in if you're going down to town. Now that's eased off a little bit. That's eased off a little bit because, you know, well, because they're being subjected to it more and more. It comes with the capitalist culture. Basically, when the rest of Europe start coming here for the call centre jobs, they bring that with them. Like, they bring that openness, especially the French and the Italians. They bring that open homosexuality with them, and so it becomes more progressive. So it's starting to ease off a little bit here. This is nature. But there are other cultures where this is still a big issue, and it's causing psychological problems. Like the Muslim community, for example. As I say, religion is another model through which people perceive the world. So Muslim culture would be another model, like their concept of God, their concept of right and wrong, their concept of morality, their concept of homosexuality. But it's basically, it is not tolerated in the Muslim community. In general, it's not tolerated in the Muslim community. It's against God. You know what I mean? We'd have to challenge the concept of God, but that's their belief, you know, that it's against God. That comes with Christianity as well. Any devout Christians. So Christians would also have a problem with repressed homosexuality, because it's against their conditioned values and against their conditioned morality. That homosexuality is against God, and it's against, well, it's not only God that has their problem, it's the perceptions of others. Basically, you'd be ostracised by your community if you were, and your family. You'd be more than likely ostracised by your community and your family if you come out as homosexual. So, as you can imagine, this causes a lot of problems. You have to repress these feelings. And then when you repress these feelings, that will depress you. Not only will it depress you, but it'll also make you, in some circumstances, aggressive and a miserable cunt. And miserable people make other people miserable. And yeah, sometimes I'm looking at these people, and one repressed homosexual referring to another gentleman as a repressed homosexual. And I just there, what the fuck is this shit? And then I started to realize this is a bigger problem than I even imagined. And then, let's go into Asia. In Asia is a collectivist culture. So basically, you know, it's a collective culture. So aggression in to protect the family honor is acceptable. So basically, homosexuality in Asia is considered dishonorable. So aggression towards homosexuality to protect the family honor is acceptable. So therefore, that's another culture where repressed sexuality is obviously causing a lot more psychological problems than people want to acknowledge. It's an elephant in the room. an elephant in the room, but they don't want to, nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. But unless we talk about the elephant in the room, we can't resolve these issues. And unless people start to establish their own values and define their own morality. In other words, fuck those cunts. And fuck the people that are creating the categories and the subcategories and the what do you call them? The fucking, you are. In ancient Greece, they had none of these categorizations. There was no such thing as heterosexual and homosexual or bisexual. There was none of that shit. Now, they did have categorizations. They had platonic love, agape, and eros. But you're very careful with the eros, because the eros, as I said, nothing will enslave a man faster than his desires. So you have to be very careful with that shit. But I'll do another video on that because that subject needs a whole fucking thing, because I'll brush on it. If you're a predatory animal, because we're nature personified, and there's an awful lot of predators. Now, there are the few little koala bears that aren't predators, but they're far and few between. There's not that many koala bears. There's a lot of big cats, a lot of small cats, a lot of crocodiles. But if you're a predatory animal and you are doing what is in your nature to do, you are not in control of yourself. And even though you think you control the prey and you're controlling the prey and you're a predatory animal and really proud of yourself because you have honed your craft to a T and you have become a superior predator. You are very good. You are very good at being a predatory animal. So if you think you control everything, you are. This is an illusion of control. Just because the prey can't control themselves does not mean that you control them. No, you don't control them, and you don't even. The reality is that you don't even control yourself, because unless you can actually look at yourself, know yourself, and establish your own values and define your own morality, and realize that you're a predatory animal, and question your intent, and to what end, you are not in control of yourself. You're just doing as nature like a cat, like a dog. You just respond to stimuli, you just react to stimuli. And until you actually start to question your actions and question your intent and establish your own values and define your own morality, you will continue to react to stimuli, which makes you a lower animal. Basically, you're not in control of yourself, you're just a predatory animal. A crocodile or you might even be a lion. Like Dan Penner, you might even be a lion, but you're a predatory animal, but you're not in control of yourself. That's just an illusion of control. And the only real control that is when you can actually focus on what is within your control. Your thoughts, and your response to your thoughts, your response to your feelings. Hume said that most people their actions are determined by their feelings, and I used to agree with this for a long time, but now I've come to realise, no, Schopenhauer's right. They just respond to react to stimuli, which is your thoughts and feelings. Your thoughts are stimuli as well. I won't get into that. Yeah. So therefore, as Cicero said, place your friends in order of your use for them. Now, Kant came along and said, don't use people as a means to an end, but as an end in themselves. But as I said in rebuttal to Kant's argument, everybody is already a means to an end. Now, I said this to a lad the other day, that everybody's already a means to an end. We're all created for purpose, but most people don't achieve self-actualization. They don't fulfill this purpose because of different their desires and aversions, basically. Their desires and aversions. But he said to me he didn't believe this shit. He didn't believe this shit that we're created for purpose. And I said, well, we're all genetically disposed to a way of thinking. You know what I mean? We're all genetically disposed to a way of thinking. I can't sing, I can't dance, I'm shit at chess, because that's a dominance hierarchy. I hate chess. But it is a dominance hierarchy. So I hate chess. So I'm no good at chess. But I'm not too bad at the philosophy, because this is my role. And I focus on doing what I'm created to do. This is how you achieve self-actualization. I focus on doing what I'm created to do. No desires, no aversions. But really, you have to achieve a state of eudaimonia before you can achieve this. So that's another matter. But basically, when this is accentuated in an individual, then that's labelled as autism by the wankers. They may go,